Hello everyone, this is RaceBase and welcome back to my career mode playthrough in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, where I'm still just starting out. I'm at level 10 and we are still in a Cessna, and I'm doing the first of the flight seeing missions. So for each type of mission there is one of these gold icon flights, and those are the ones you have to do first so that the other flights pop up on the map, and the other mission options will only pop up in the areas that you've already sort of opened up. And we're technically opening up a new area this time. This is the Venice region, and if you do some mission at the border of that, you'll expand the area that you can find missions in, and that's sort of how it goes. And later on, some of the gold icons will appear in Africa and South America, and that'll allow us to pick up missions over there and start expanding our capabilities to find new missions like that. Otherwise, it'd take a while to get to some of the other continents. Anyway, as usual, I'm not going to be using Control E to start up, even though that's what they tell you to do. It's a very easy plane to start up. You just flick all the switches and then turn the key. It's easy. I'm here thinking, do I really need to flick these switches? But it doesn't matter really, because you can just flick all the switches.
So, Captain, time to tour all the best spots, don't you think?
All right, so you've got startup.
You're guiding Eleanor and her mom over our charming local town of Venice.
And we get to hear the AI. I'll include a smattering of the AI voices, because if I have to put up with them, you have to put up with them. And here we are announcing the takeoff.
Lima, India, Papa, Victor, traffic, Cessna, India.
Generally, I'll only use Control E if the engine quits on me in flight. I recommend doing that. If the engine quits on you in flight and you don't know why, and the start procedure might be long enough that you will crash if you try to go through it, then Control E is probably a good idea. Or if you don't know what exactly is going on, Control E could reset things in a way that will solve the problem. So that is an advisable way to use Control E.
Not sure
as a takeoff from here.
But no choice now. Ha.
That was great AI talking right there. I know of better AI voices out there as we do fly over Venice here around San Marco Square. But I don't know how exactly they're doing the voices, whether the voice engine is built into the game or whether it's actually being streamed. If it's being streamed, the quality shouldn't be this bad, but then again, that would be a lot of extra overhead. Then again, audio is a whole lot less than the video that we're talking about here. As you see in San Marco Square, there's a suspiciously untextured object there. And now, this is one mission that everybody basically has to do in career mode. They should have checked that they had textured that thing. That is a custom object that has a special texture, and it is now pinkish purple because it is missing that texture. It could be just one of the level of details, but yeah, that was very suspicious.
I feel like I can see forever.
So did nobody actually get into career mode this far when they tested? I don't know. It's weird that had a missing texture there. Maybe I just had a download problem, I don't know. As I fly around the third area, Torcello Basilica, though having trouble keeping my speed down, unfortunately. Or totally forgetting, well, there I throttle down, but should have done that a little bit earlier. And after that, of course, just a matter of landing. So it's a pretty quick mission, just to unlock this mission type. This is one of the better mission types because at least it has variety in terms of the sites that you're flying around. Generally, for those wondering, there's no variety in the missions within the type. So once you have a type of mission, it's just how it is. Like if it's a ferry mission, you're going from one place to another, and that's it. There's not going to be any other dynamic aspect to that. But at least with the sightseeing missions, you have different sites that you're going around, so that makes it a little bit different. I do wish that for the cargo missions that they actually told you what the cargo is. That would add a little bit of difference in the mission, add a little bit of color to the mission, but it doesn't seem like that's the case right now. At least for the ones that I've seen so far. So I'm thinking of like in NeoFly, I can make a little bit of a deal if I'm carrying caviar or wine or something. You know, it adds a little bit more color to the whole situation if you know what you're carrying. I'm gonna blatantly assume that the career does not allow you to carry illegal goods in the default game. Though in UFly, I forget, I think that's possible. Anyway, I got an A for that one. And I have received a very minor payout. So, with that, my reputation doesn't quite get to a B, and my level does get to level 12. So now all the other flight seeing missions pop up on the map, and I can pick one in the San Francisco Bay Area, which is where I was intending to start, basically. So I pick one near Half Moon Bay, because it seemed to be relatively short. I would advise, because flights may have some glitches in the mission
Captain,
mode,
seems like
or
you're
the career
ready.
mode, that
Isn't
you
it just
pick
perfect
relatively
for a
short
little tour?
ones, just so that you're not
For
investing a
today's
whole lot of
scenic
time in a
hike,
mission
you're
only to
soaring over
find that
Half
it's
Moon Bay
bugged.
with Justin and his son.
There's a good idea.
Seatbelt fastened? Then you're all set. Captain,
Alright.
let's make it unforgettable.
Unforgettable. Yeah, well, there's one aspect of this particular mission that's quite unforgettable. And we'll get to that in a sec, but here I am taking off with the Cessna again. I really wish it was an analog cockpit Cessna. I really, really wish it was an analog cockpit Cessna. But anyway, here we go. So we're flying around a lake first. Pilarcitos Lake.
500.
And the topography of this peninsula, the San Francisco Peninsula here, is one thing that makes it a little bit more interesting because it's got this ridge of mountains on it, part of the coastal range. And so you have to go up them and down them quite a lot, getting from one point to another. Now we are approaching the bit that's a little bit dubious and interesting, and that's the part where we block the way for every flight coming into San Francisco International Airport. Apparently we're sightseeing Central Park here, but that means that we're right in the flight path of everything landing at the international airport. I'm pretty sure planes aren't allowed to do this particular kind of sightseeing right at the threshold of the airport like that. Not sure though. Maybe there's special dispensation. And then we're off to a School of Performing Arts, which is an interesting thing to fly around. I suppose they must have a custom building for it, but if that's the case, I didn't get to see outside because I'm busy flying the plane. But if that's the case, I really hope they have a lot of other sites elsewhere, because if they're down to a School of Performing Arts around here, some of the more obvious sites they really need to be adding to, like the core of Mexico City. You know, the main buildings of Mexico City are missing right now, basically. Those would be
Kilo
nice to have.
Hotel, Alpha Foxtrot Traffic Cessna, November
So, here we are landing.
26, 3 miles north 1,900 feet inbound to land runway 30.
500.
Make sure to do all the communications properly. Well, they make it easy because you just have to press enter. I do wish sort of that we could do it by voice. And I really thought that by Flight Sim 2024 we'd be able to do it by voice. After all, Microsoft Windows has voice recognition sort of built in, so... Oh gosh. I hate when that happens. Sometimes I get a little bit of a shimmy on landing with the landing gear. Well, that busted them royally probably, but don't worry, no points will be taken off for that. Actually, I don't
Kilo
know. Maybe there
Hotel,
will be.
Alpha Foxtrot Traffic Cessna, November 26176 is taxi.
But yeah, voice recognition should be a thing, and we should just be able to talk to
You
the
turned
system.
your
Now, I
passengers
have
into
Beyond
flight addicts,
ATC where
haven't
you can
you?
do that,
Anyway,
and there
I
are
can
other
see that
systems
anxiety
where you
has
can do
turned
that
into
too.
excitement.
But for
Well
the
done.
missions, we can't integrate Beyond ATC. We can't use Beyond ATC for these missions, otherwise the sim won't recognize it. So that's the problem. Well, yeah, I did dock points for landing smoothness there. Only 42%, which is definitely not good enough for anything. Also, I sped on the taxiway. Did get paid though, that's important. And I did get up to a... No, I didn't get up to a B, I don't think. It increased a little bit, but it didn't give me a level B splash there. So, okay, after that, I've gotten a little bit more money. I didn't unlock cargo transport light because that wasn't a smooth enough landing. It has to be above 50% to be smooth enough. So I go on to do the high performance endorsement certification, and that costs 5,000. I did get enough money for that, and that leads us to this new plane. A very unusual Cessna, the Cessna C400 Corvallis. Not what you normally think of when you think of Cessna, but here it is, and I try to figure out how to start it without looking at the checklist. That's a normal thing for me to do. I try to figure it out and then look at the checklist to see if I got it right. Well, I mean, if the engine starts up, you're probably in good shape. But on particular planes, there'll be one element that I forget.
More powerful aircraft.
This one, not so much. This one, just turn on the battery alternator and prime and then turn the key. Of course, you should always check that the fuel is connected. That's important too.
Try to be gentle on the controls and remain alert during takeoff and landing. Do not hesitate to apply some right rudder to counter the aircraft's left-turning tendencies.
I think the instructor must be properly voiced because it didn't make any mistakes as far as I could tell. And after all, it's a set thing. The reason they'll want to use AI for the other voices is because the locations change. You know, a lot of the wording changes depending on the situation. So that's why it's nice to have AI voices, if they're good. If they're good, then it's nice to have the AI voices because there's, like, functionally an infinite number of places around the world, and then they can actually voice the names of those places properly, or try to anyway.
Tower November 2617, 6 continue for south departure.
Alright, so it's a very simple test. All the tests have been very simple, much more simple than the tutorials or the missions. The simplest things are the tests, which is not what I'm used to. Like it, even in NeoFly in Flight Sim 2020, the tests were actually, you know, very strict as far as making sure you flew in a particular way, particular speed, particular height, turning at a particular bank angle. I mean, it shouldn't be hard for somebody who's trying to take a flight test, but what I'm saying is that the stock ones in here right now, the certification is much, much, much more lenient. Like, it probably wouldn't even care how hard my landing was right there.
176, turn next
And I still got some squirreliness for some reason. Maybe I was having a bad rudder day. I do have a twist rudder, and I hadn't mapped differential brakes yet. I've decided to map the differential brakes on what I used to have for the aileron trim left and trim right, which is the hat switch left and right. I think I don't really need the aileron left and right so much. I think I can just deal with that with keys presses on the keyboard, I mean. And I would rather have the differential brakes on the hat switch.
With a few simple tweaks that would have been a perfect flight.
Yep, didn't quite get done with all those flicks, but it was satisfied, and on the test I got a B. Alright, so that wasn't even, that was high performance, but didn't even have retractable landing gear. It's shocking. Anyway, incidentally, landing softly on the test does not count towards the landing requirements, because those landings have to be done during missions, not the tests. So, I needed to find another mission in order to at least do one more soft landing for the cargo missions, to unlock the cargo missions. So I've got this ferry flight delivering an aircraft to Santa Cruz, and at least it's a Bonanza, because now I've got high performance. I can fly the Bonanza, which actually does have a retractable landing gear and also flies reasonably fast. So I think this is the first time that I'm flying the Bonanza in the series, and so here's the startup. Just flicking, you could probably just flick everything, but make sure the fuel is properly done too. Mainly down there, and then turn the key, and it's all good.
Hi, it's David, the hangar
There we go.
supervisor.
A
Thanks for
little bit
taking
of a
care
rough
this
start,
ferry flight. Today's orders are to get this Beechcraft Bonanza G36 over to Bonnie Doon Village ASAP.
Bonnie Dune
The owner's
Village.
aircraft was in for maintenance, and now that it's fixed, she wants it flown back. Her name's Jennifer Rojas, and she is waiting at the destination to pick it up. Fly safely.
Oh, I left the passenger door open. And then it docked me for going onto the taxiway without announcing. But that's just, I shouldn't have moved without announcing, basically. So, my mistake there. I let go of the brakes too early. And where they placed me did sort of force me to go onto the grass here. But you don't get docked points for that. That's fine. You can roll on the grass as much as you like. Just don't go too fast on the taxiway. Or the grass. Okay, holding short here. Interesting little squeaks from the plane. And here we have my magnificent
Oscar 88
in-game
Traffic
voice.
Beechcraft, November 23245, taking off runway 7 south departure.
Of course, I wouldn't really want it to try to replicate my actual voice anyway, so this is probably for the best. Off we go. There is an option to have your co-pilot do the ATC communications, but I don't know if that's applicable to career mode. That's just in the general mode as far as I know. But I haven't tried it in the career mode anyway because I generally don't have a co-pilot, so. Alright, so it's flight down from, I guess I'll call that the North San Francisco Bay, or the Delta area, all the way down to the vicinity of Santa Cruz. The weather was quite IFR-ish. I mean, that's instrument flight rules. Technically, you have to have another rating to land in those circumstances, but we're just passing through the clouds. But some serious rainfall there. No raindrops on the windshield. I was looking for that. I don't know if this plane has that implemented or not, because, well, we flew through some rainy patches and I was expecting some but didn't get any. I do like seeing the rain when the weather is rainy. That's a nice feature of planes in Flight Sim that I wanted to make sure was actually still happening, but no luck this time, and not really IFR on landing, though very windy, which is what I'm struggling with here. It is definitely windy as I sit down and really don't want to smack into the trees on the other end. Okay. Alright, well, actually plenty of margin on that. It is a small plane. But with the weather conditions, the question is whether it was a smooth enough landing for it to be more than 50% so that I get the last landing required for the light cargo missions. And so we'll have to see that. Parking, saying parking brake.
You did a solid job, and I appreciate it.
Well, the aircraft's owner thought I did a solid job, so maybe that's hopeful. Alright, what's the verdict? Landing smoothness 14%. It was worse than when I wobbled all over the place. Shocking. Well, so I got money, but I didn't get a landing that would qualify. My reputation is a B. Plus 5% bonus for next mission. I found out that the requirement to get your own company, you see companies is not available right now. It's either level 30 or it's a sufficient amount of money, and the sufficient amount of money is like 27,000 credits. I don't know which one is what really unlocks it because I got both simultaneously, but that is what unlocks it, either the money or the level. Unable to take the cargo mission, I decide to go for the first skydiving mission because I've unlocked that specialization already. So this is the first mission that will allow the rest of them to show up on the map. Though I don't know if having done this mission, I don't know if I want to do a whole lot of these skydiving missions because they take a long time. Notice the distance, 117 nautical miles, and it's still a Cessna. Well, it's still a Cessna 172. So we're talking about an hour-long thing, or more than an hour-long thing. And that's because we have to climb to a sufficient height in a Cessna, which takes a while, and then go all the way back down.
5 ECHDW. Everybody make your way onto the aircraft. Same exit order we discussed back at the clubhouse, okay?
so close to being right there, but it messed up on the pacing on that. Okay. They're the skydivers. Yes, they do pop out. And we are in Spain. Or I think close to the border between France and Spain here.
Pilot,
So
let's
that'll give us
a round of
another
applause to our
region
two
where we can
candidates for this
expand
jump.
from.
Treat them extra special, please. Let's go.
I wonder if there's a
Alright,
rule
let's
that
make this
skydiving
jump to
planes have to be
remember.
colored in
I
these
want to
really
see
bright
smiles on those
colors.
rock star faces when we're back here.
Alright.
Lima Echo.
Though yellow is, I
Papa
mean, it
traffic
basically
Cessna
looks like
Echo
a big
Charlie.
cub right
Hotel
now.
Delta Whiskey taking off runway Tree 5 departure to the north.
Alright. So we have to get to 10,000 feet. There are other requirements as well. Given the time commitment, it doesn't pay that well. Well, we have to do a U-turn here. If the mission was to involve a plane that hadn't flown yet, though, I would consider it. So like the PC-6 Porter, I haven't flown so far in Flight Sim 2024. I flew it in 2020, obviously, but not 2024. Then I would go like, yeah, maybe I'll pick it up just to fly the plane in career mode.
We're high enough, guys. Unfasten your seatbelts. As I explained on the ground, you need to be able to jump if anything goes wrong.
Jump if anything goes wrong. That's a very Kerbal policy. So yeah, it's a long, long climb. And one irritating thing is it says press enter to announce the 2 minutes before jump. Well, I was trying to time it properly. And then it exited out for me and said I missed it. But the truth is we're still more than 3 minutes away from the jump point. So it caused me to fail that point in an unjustified way. Let me put it that way. I mean, I should have been able to do it. I had it all timed out. I went, oh, this is my speed, this is the distance. Okay, 2 minutes away. I'm gonna announce it when we're 2 minutes away. Nope. You should just do it when it pops up, basically, as far as I can tell. Have to maintain the other requirements for the jump.
Claim your prize, folks.
So,
Go.
here we go. Watch the little peoples fly out. Obviously, you should do this from external view, though it might be interesting to look back in internal view to see how it's going.
Time to say goodbye.
See them pop out like that.
See you back at the ranch.
Next time I do this, I'll try and be inside the cockpit and look backwards to see if they are popping out like that. So just 3 of them. And there we go. And now the long trip home. So jumpers are away.
SDW divers away.
And then yeah, there's a path ahead of us to descend and then the rest of the path down there. So it's a pretty long mission. And here I am landing. But that is one more specialization that we can do. Alright, that's pretty soft, right? Well, but, yeah, well, this is a mission. This isn't a test, so should count. That felt pretty soft. So, is it soft enough? The suspense.
Not bad, Cap. Come see me, and I'll show you how to improve your game.
That was awkward. Well, the execution time, that's the 2-minute warning thing I got 0 for. But landing speed is 85%. Got the money. Got a tiny bit of reputation. Got a level up to 18. But can I do the cargo mission? Yes, I can. So, cargo transport light in Madagascar. It's a little bit unfortunate that the starting location in Africa is Madagascar because it would be better to have a somewhat more central location in Africa, but anyway, we're starting off on this side and we'll have to slightly go towards Africa in order to unlock more missions. And it's another Cessna 172 with cargo. So, but it's lime green. I hope that's a positive for people. And here we go.
Hi
Yes, there
there.
are boxes. I'll
It's
show them
Widad.
later in
Now
the
that you're
video.
all set up, let me go over the important details with you. Loose cargo on board. This is a very important shipment for one of our clients. Needs to get to Embadifo
I wish,
Tower
since it's
promptly.
loose cargo, they actually
Our
shifted
sensitive
around
cargo
when you
containers
jostle
are
them.
built to
That'd be
handle
really
slight
fancy.
turbulence, but maintain a constant flight speed and adapt to changing conditions. A prompt and safe delivery is key for the success of our business.
Alright, so off we go. Potentially a little bit heavier than normal. And this is the coast of Madagascar here. A little bit better than the previous game. I had flown around Madagascar in 2020. I think they've made improvements. There are the boxes. I don't understand the one that's sideways and clearly not the right way around. It's got the little arrows saying this side up, but did they pay attention to that? No. So they better not blame me for anything broken in there. There's plenty of room to stack them up. Now here the system fooled me. This is the end of a live stream. My goal had been to unlock the light cargo missions. And we have these gates here, and I've gotten used to flying through the gates, right, sort of mindlessly. But this isn't runway 25, it's the other way around, right? So this is runway 7. But I'm landing like this because I followed the gates, and it's wrong. It actually wanted me to land runway 25. But then why was the gate like this? The gate lied to me. And then they docked points for it. At least they didn't fail the mission, but still. Anyway, there's no parking space or anything. There's nothing to guide me at all, really. So I just shut it down. Wondering whether the mission will actually complete, of course. But it does say mission success. And actually, everything was nice except for undesignated landing area. And that didn't even dock too much. I even got an S out of it. So sometimes with undesignated landing area, it's very picky and will actually fail the mission on you. In this case, it's just 25% off, and I still got an S rating. My first S rating, I think. So yeah, that's interesting. As I don't quite get to level 20, just level 19. And that's where I left it at this point. So I will of course continue career mode. I have already continued career mode and unlocked more things, and even got my ability to create a company, though I haven't actually formed the company yet. But for now, I'll leave it here and say thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do press like. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time.